Orleans Parish District Attorney Leon Cannizzaro cleared the way for a new top prosecutor in the city. He announced he will not seek re-election this afternoon, setting the stage for what is sure to be a notable race. Our Mike McDaniel has that story.
After 12 years in office, Orleans Parish District Attorney Leon Cannizzaro is calling it quits, not seeking re-election for a third term, and not a surprise to Eyewitness News political analyst Clancy DuBos.
Cannizzaro didn't do any of the things that an incumbent running for re-election would do.
His announcement Friday afternoon ends weeks of speculation as polls showed him trailing announced challengers. In the running to take his spot, New Orleans City Councilman Jason Williams and former Orleans Parish Criminal Court judges Arthur Hunter, Keva Landrum, and Morris Reed. DuBos says Cannizzaro's exit changes the dynamic of the race.
With Cannizzaro in the race, you would have two major candidates with serious handicaps.
For Cannizzaro, that's a past scandal involving fake subpoenas designed to compel reluctant witnesses to appear in court and arresting material witnesses. For Williams, it's a current indictment on federal tax fraud charges.
All of the other candidates will now focus their attacks and attention on Williams.
I'm very optimistic.
Simone Levine, executive director of Court Watch NOLA, a nonprofit that doesn't take positions during elections, says she hopes Cannizzaro's decision not to run signals a shift in criminal justice.
We have a court system currently that really does not prioritize people. And we think that that's the end of this era.
In deciding to retire and spend time with his family, Cannizzaro released a statement saying in part, "It is my hope that the citizens of New Orleans will take care choosing my successor. The job of district attorney in this city may often be a thankless one, but that does not diminish its importance. It's an important position, which Levine says the remaining four candidates need to be mindful of."
They have to be active in ensuring that they have the public in mind.
Mike McDaniel, Eyewitness News.